All right, so we can move on to Justice, y'all. I think Justice will be a little bit more streamlined. I think we agreed a little bit more on this one. Um, so Justice cards, we're going to start off with the one, the only Skilled Investigator.
Who had that one?
All of us. It's zero cost draw a card when you defeat a side scheme. David, you have to say it's great because your argument for your other card previously. Oh,
yeah, 100%.
So, like, I think if you're playing Justice, you should have side events. I agree with that. And Skilled Investigator just amplifies that. You can play under any player's control. So I think you run 3 of just to give yourself one and like do it relatively early. And then as you get the others, you play them on other players so you can help them go off. I think it's a great support card, even though it's an upgrade, but it's a good support card to support the other players, which is kind of what Justice tends to do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a powerful card. It is so powerful. Like, if you're playing Justice, even if you're playing solo, you just include one of these. It makes your deck better.
It's okay. It's really, really good in the fact that it will go off at least once or twice a game.
Yeah.
I'm not, but it is not I don't think it's a include in every Justice deck. David's gonna kill me for that. But I do think it's like one of the best Justice cards. But moving on, we have Clear the Area, David. I think this is yours.
Yes, I did have this one. So I will say this is mostly from a solo perspective. If you're playing this, this card doesn't really have much of a place in multiplayer. It can, but not really. Pay 1, thwart event, hero action, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, draw 1 card. Just value wise, 1 resource for 2 threat removal is like on curve. Drawing a card if you meet that requirement is incredible. Pairing this with Skilled Investigator, that's you 2 cards. In solo, this would be, I think David said it's not great. In multiplayer, this is an A tier card.
I think this is a solid S in most places. Just because it has the draw card if you remove the last 2. And I think that's something you easily do with the Justice deck because Justice tends to whittle. So I think this goes to S just because it has the bonus on the bottom. Luke?
I think so. Just because that little niche of if it removes the last threat, you can draw a card because obviously you want to get full value out of it. But a 1 cost, remove 2 threat. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty on rate. So I think S is a good starting point. We'll see if it jumps up or down by the end of it.
All right. We have Concussive Blow.
This was not mine.
Not mine.
Yep, it's mine. Luke did the punches last time. I'm doing the punches this time. There's only 1 punch. Okay, so this is an attack, and if you essentially it just confuses the enemy for 3, and if you play for a fist, you get to deal 3 damage. I think when you play this, you're almost always gonna pay the fist. This is a way for Justice to get damage through. That's simply what it is. I think this falls under A. It's a good filler card for a Justice deck if you need a filler card. Because it does the Justice thing of confusing so they don't get more threat, and then it also can deal damage.
If it wasn't for the confuse, I think this would be kind of a worse card.
Well, yeah, that's why the confuse is a mandatory.
I think with the card we have later in this list, it does improve it a lot more. But like on its own, definitely like an A tier. It's useful. Yeah.
This is the same as the other punch from the other one. It's an A tier card that fills in gaps. It deserves to be on this list because it does fill that gap for Justice.
Yeah.
Next we have Beat Cop. I think I'm the one that put Beat Cop on here. Um, Beat Cop, I think, is low S tier, mainly because you can throw it in anything and it works. It is going to be consistent, just shit on threat. And then when you do get a big problem, you can pop it and get a lot of damage off on a minion. It serves both purposes, just like Concussive Blow. But it's more consistent in the fact that you can get it out and keep going with it. And the more you have, the better you get, because not a unique one is actually you can have any 3 copies of it at once.
Mm-hmm.
Opinions?
It's pricey, but it's useful, especially if you can get like 1 or 2 of these out in a game. That is dealing with most of your threat right there. As far as like main scheme threat, and it frees you up to do other stuff with your turn.
So I think it's below Clear the Area. But I think it's above Concussive Blow.
Yeah, I think it deserves to be an S.
I would rate it above Clear the Area just because it's a slightly more versatile, but I'm fine with it being there for now.
Okay. I enjoy how me and David swap. Like he'll put a card in and he'll say my card is better than that, and like we'll go back and forth and change them. Lay Down the Law.
1 cost event. After you change form, remove 3 threat from a scheme, 4 threat if you used a science resource. 1 cost event to remove 3. That's pretty good. We can look at Clear the Area for an example. But it's the fact that after you change form, it doesn't say hero or alter ego. So, you know, if. Oh, hero response. So you got to go into alter ego?
No.
Other way.
Literally,
Okay, I mean,
it's Cap throwing his shield in the image.
yeah, I mean that's exactly what I was thinking about.
It's still a good card. I like this card a lot, but that's the limitation to it.
Well, what's the last line? I don't think you read all the way through the card.
Remove 3 threat from a scheme, 4 threat instead if you pay for this card using a science resource. So a 1 for 4 if you pay using a science. I still think that's pretty solid. Even now that reading the card explains the card, and I'm saying that you got to go into hero form, but I still think it's pretty good. Maybe not S, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad card to run.
So how many heroes can change form more than once in a turn?
A handful, but you also have to remember, anything that like if your hero has a secondary form like Shadowcat, like Vision, like Spectrum, this also triggers off of those shifts.
So I like this. It seems like it might be niche, but I'm not 100% on how niche it is. I feel like it's less niche than Aerial.
Yes. Well, I don't.
It kind of depends on the hero, right?
So I think this is less niche than Ever Vigilant, just because Ever Vigilant is 2 threat from main and already, and this is when you change form do a thing. I think even some change formers in Justice don't really care about this card because they may be wanting to do other stuff. I do think it's really good though. This is 100% a card I need to start building around.
No, well, just adding it to decks. I don't think it's a build around. Maybe this is our first high 8. Like I think this is above Concussive Blow. I can't tell if it's better than Clear the Area.
I can't. That's why. Sorry. I meant I should build decks around this so I can see if this is S tier or not.
Well, I think, and maybe both of these cards go in the same deck. Maybe this is that same thing as like the Riposte Desperate Defense Protection deck. You do a Justice deck where you just have nothing but 1 cost that take 2 to 4 off of it every time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a viable thing, I think, with these 2 cards alone. It'll help with that. So, and there's another card coming up soon or a couple cards coming up soon that also will go with that theory.
Yeah, that can work with each other.
Yeah, so y'all just want to leave it like this for now? Because I don't want to say Lay Down the Law is bad, but it's definitely something to consider. It's not something I've looked at. I frankly didn't realize it existed before today.
So I'll bring up one point. Let me look it up real quick. But every aspect, I guess, except for leadership, has the upgrade that lets you pay for specific type of events for them. For the Justice one, I think the Justice one is a science resource,
Uh,
so this pays for that by itself.
'cause
Pays for the boosted.
I know protection is the lightning one. Yeah,
Yeah, I think aggression is a fist.
yeah. So yeah, I think this is S. I think we leave it at S and keep moving. Um, Upside the head. Did either of y'all have it, or is it just me?
I have that as
Just you.
well.
I do like this one though.
Okay. Luke, you can take this one.
Cool. One cost event here response. After your hero makes a basic attack and damages an enemy, confuse that enemy. If that enemy is already confused, stun it instead. One cost event. To if you're swinging into someone, you're hoping that you're going to damage and you're going to hit them. You can confuse it, so it's a justice card that can confuse. And if that enemy's already confused, bam, you can stun it. When I saw this card, I definitely was thinking about another card on the list. So maybe this is a little bit higher because of that, but still in a vacuum, I still think a one cost to confuse and to get upgraded into a stun is still pretty solid.
I definitely think this is an S tier card to me, just because it is versatile. It can stun or confuse based on what's going on. And in decks you build this around, it is even more powerful.
Mm.
So, do we want to put this above Beat Cop? Because I think it's one of the stronger cards we've seen so far.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Next we have Think Fast, which is a card for me. This is a Guardian only. Oh, did you do this one too? That's
I love
funny.
this card.
Yeah, almost all my cards are duplicated on this one, y'all. So Think Fast. It's a Guardian only card. You take a damage, confusing a villain. It's simple. It's there. It's just a worse upside the head.
And it's only worse because it says only play this if you're a Guardian.
Yeah.
So I think this goes down to the A just because you take a damage and it's Guardian only, and you already have upside the head.
Yeah. I I I gotta say, I love this card so much. Even like thematically, like it being a Guardian card, and there are most of the Guardian cards are built around being reckless. Taking one damage is nothing to most characters and confusing. I love this card so much. I want to be higher, but this is where it belongs because the Guardian limitation.
Yeah, like I said, upside the head is a strictly better card than this.
Mhm.
Now I've had both of them in my hand. I'm happy, but like it just is. Sonic Rifle. Only one person had this.
This one, I have an archetype I really enjoy playing. I think we have seen three other cards already placed on this list that lean into this. And the main component is coming up later. I love justice decks that lean into confusion, and this one is a bit pricey, but I think being able to confuse on demand with this is incredibly powerful. You get two uses. So Sonic Rifle is restricted, two uses as tech weapon. As a hero action, exhaust Sonic Rifle, remove one charge counter from it, confuse an enemy, deal 3 damage to the enemy instead if it is already confused. So you pay 3 up front, you play this, and then whenever the villain is not confused and you need it to be confused, just turn it sideways. This is amazing and definitely worth the value. Even though it is 3, most heroes that's playing most of your hand to get this out. But being able to have it on the table when you need it is crucial.
Yeah. And like you said, confuse an enemy and deal 3 damage along with I know what card we're all referring to that's gonna get on this list. I solid. It is good.
So where are we playing this? An S or
I want to say David's not great. David said it's not great, but I think it could also be S.
I still think Upside the Head is better. So I think we move it up to David said it's not great and put this maybe here. It'll probably get bumped up, so we'll go ahead and put it there.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that seems like the middle point there because Upside the Head is the you're already confused. Here's another thing you can get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Next is Homeland Intervention, which I find this very ironic. Who put this on the list?
That was me.
Okay.
Zero cost event. Exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control and choose a scheme. Remove 2 threat from that scheme for each card exhausted this way. So what it boils down to, it costs nothing to play as long as you have shield cards. And it can be anything. Allies, tech, upgrades. And 2 threat for each one that you exhaust. I think that's a good little rate. So, at most, you can remove up to 6 threat from something. Sometimes when that villain is really, really high or you really side scheme, I think this is a good way to start getting stuff off the field or numbers getting lowered.
Like, because you have to build around it, I want to say A, but it is too good a card to put in A. Because of the action, it's not a hero action. You could do this in Alter Ego, and that by itself, I think, moves it from A to S for me.
I think it could be S, but I need Luke to realize the only other shield card on here is the Raft, which is a unique shield card, which means you objectively have to build around this card with none of the other most powerful cards in our opinions to play this one card. Just need you to realize that, Luke. The irony that there's only one other shield card, and this is a build around only shield cards, which kicking me because there's so many good shield cards.
So you, I just realized you screwed my list on this one.
No, I didn't.
You were leaving 3 cards on my list off of this one.
No, I'm not.
I thought it looked a little small.
Bishop, Monica Chang, one way or another.
Did it not bring those over? It didn't bring them over.
Oh my god! You talking about the only one shield card on here? I'm like, whoa, what do you mean? Like Monica Chang is effectively 2 shield cards in one. And I realized I don't see her on here.
I'm kind of glad that you chose one way or another. David, I highly debated that card.
Hang on one second. Hang on.
Yeah, Oscar's going to figure out how to sticky note these things.
No. I got a solution. We good. Y'all go ahead and talk about Lay the Trap.
That was mine. Don't know if any of y'all include it.
Nope.
A wise man once said, if you're not playing side schemes, you're playing it wrong. So check it out. Here's a side scheme. The player who defeated this scheme deals 5 damage to the villain, but that is 5 damage per player. So obviously, the more players you have in a multiplayer match, the way better this card is. So, if trios, you're dealing 15 damage off the rip, just to get 9 threat off the scheme. I think, it's a justice card that hits. I think, arguably, is it quote unquote the strongest justice card? Maybe not. But man, like once it gets off, you're gonna do some damage to the villain or something on the field.
Yeah, I would agree. So I'm not sure whether this is A or S. I think maybe an S because this is a huge chunk of damage in Justice that Justice really doesn't have coming from much other places. And especially multiplayer. Like you thwart this down and do 20 damage to the enemy or 15 damage to the villain. It's so much fun to play with. I really, really enjoy this card.
Yeah, and especially like you said, like for multiplayer, it's just, it's an easy one of. Just throw it in there. Leave it maybe for phase 2 or 3 of the villain to just get that ball rolling. And yeah, it's just everyone focuses on it, pops it off. And also it still has some of my favorite flavor text in this entire game, because every time I read it, I chuckle.
Yeah. I love this card. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I, I see it got placed in David's. That's not great. I think Oscar may agree with us, even if it's quiet.
I put it in David. It said it's great. So yeah,
I'm so sorry.
it's
I
up
misspoke,
there.
sorry.
Yeah, I know, right? We all make mistakes. We're gonna let that go.
Mm.
No, it's a lot. It's a crap ton of damage, and it's worth it because it's also an easy pop to get all your other victory display stuff if you desperately need it.
Yeah, for cards that require maybe something in the victory display.
We're gonna play more around the victory display cards in the future. I'm interested in that. We're gonna take a brief like 30-second break while I go get these cards imported for David before he has a stroke. Please,
Luke, are you missing any? Does he need to fix anything for you?
No, I think he actually has. I think he learned his lesson last time, so I guess he just didn't take you seriously from last week.
Maybe.
Let's see.
all right. And we're back. We have the other cards added, but we're gonna go over a couple other ones. First, we have Wolfsbane. This is a card I've liked since I started playing. It's a 3 cost, 3 health ally, 1 attack, 2 thwart. You're always gonna be thwarting with her or him, whatever it is. I don't know. It's a furry creature.
I think
It's a she.
It's
the cousin to Dr. Sinclair, obviously. Ronnie Sinclair.
Okay. After Wolfie here, thwarts. You name a card type. Then you discard the top card of your deck, and you may if it's the same type, you add it to your hand. I mean, it reveals it is the same type, adds it to your hand. I think it's on rate just as vanilla without the ability, and then I think the ability just adds extra to it. So if you're playing a lot of one type in a deck, if you're playing mostly events in the deck, we have Wolfsbane. Or if you have all your supports and all your upgrades out of your deck, you just name events. And most of the time you're going to hit it. And then it gets really good whenever you're abusing this card with magic or anything else that can peek at the top of the deck or put cards on top of the deck. I think Wolfsbane is just generally good.
I don't run enough Justice decks that are event heavy that make use of her. But magic in her, match made in heaven.
So S tier 4?
I feel like we're just kind of going S tier with a lot of stuff. I think Justice just has a lot of good cards. I think Wolfsbane might be just a high A, honestly.
I think
so. The other thing you gotta keep in mind, these are rules as written, the most powerful cards in this aspect. They're not our favorite cards; they're the most powerful cards. So them being all restricted to the top 3 should be by design.
I guess. Okay, we'll leave her in S. Like Wolfsbane is good. On base is pay 3, thwart 6, and potentially draw 3.
Yeah. She's great.
Next up we have Float Like a Butterfly.
I know
had that one.
I did. Anyone else?
I did too. All right.
Nice.
It already means throw it on top.
Yep.
Well,
No.
I think this is David says not great. It is an archetype. You do not include this in everyone, but this is the key card in the Confusion archetype. So when I read this one off to the people that are listening,
Uh,
Uh,
it's
you
a
go.
2 cost upgrade. No,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a 2 cost upgrade that you can play under any player's control, similar to Skilled Investigator. You can only have one. Interrupt: when a character you control attacks a confused enemy, increase the amount of damage from that attack to that enemy by 1. David, would you like to tell them why it's so good?
Well, for two reasons. One, kind of much like Skilled Investigator, if you are running this and you're playing multiplayer, include multiple copies of this in your deck to hand out to the players. Because if you are running this, you are built around confusion. You have lots of ways to confuse. This is a great card paired with a leadership person that's doing ally swarm. This is a great card paired with an aggression player that is trying to attack 1, 2, or 3 times a turn. This is insane damage. Absolutely incredible damage gets cranked out from this card.
And I think this is a card that you might not, in multiplayer, you might not play this on yourself first. You might play this on another character, on another player first, just so, because they had attack more than you. Because you're going to be confusing more early game.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds kind of weird, but it's a thing. Like, I think it legitimately works. I think it's a good strategy. I think it's something that you build around. I think it's something that's fun. I think, and that's another thing. It's like, it's strong and fun. It makes you want to play interactively and not just play your turn pass.
Yeah.
I think David said it's not great, but I think it goes to the top of David said it's not great.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay, since the key card of those 3 cards in that tier.
Right. Next up, we have Husk, which is definitely a build around. This is I have my key ally kind of card. It's a 4 cost, 3 health, 2 thwart, 2 attack, with an activation on either attack or thwart that when she does a basic, you can spend up to 3 resources. If you spend at least 1, you get an effect based on the resource type. It has so she either can get +1 to the power, heal 1, or ready her. Which means if you have the right hand, you can get her off 3 times in 1 turn. So it gets really nutty with her, but again, you had to be built around her. I think the most notable deck that would be really great for her is Domino, because Domino has a resource with all 3 on her.
Has all the resources.
Yeah. But they don't have to be on 1 card. They can be in separate. So that's also a thing to think about. So anybody with split resources are also really good with Husk. So I do think this is more niche. I definitely feel like this is like by Think Fast. Like, she's so good, but she's very like, I try to put her in everything and she always comes out. She's always like one of the first cut cards because it just the 4 costs pains people to put her in. That's a turn.
Yeah, she is incredibly powerful. And it's not hard to make her work, but there are some decks is like, I can't pay for you this turn because I need to do other stuff. But like, I think that's the right place for high A.
Then we have the one and only Gunboat Diplomacy.
Did anyone else have this one?
No,
I did not actually.
So I've only played, I think, 2 or 3 decks that run Gunboat. It's another one I really need to play more of it. So Gunboat is a 1 cost event. Attack thwart alliance, which I'll get into in a second. Hero action, attack thwart. Exhaust an X-Force and an X-Men character. Remove X threat from among schemes in play and deal X damage among enemies in play, where X is the combined thwart of the 2 exhausted characters. So that alliance one means anyone can help you pay for this. So it's a 1 cost. So if anyone has an extra resource, they can help you pay for it. Which normally doesn't matter. Might come up niche scenario once or twice. But this card is incredibly powerful, incredibly cost efficient. You're exhausting 2 characters. It has to be from X-Force and X-Men, but we have a built-in card to get around that with Children of the Atom. That makes all X-Men, X-Force, and X-Factor characters X-Men, X-Force, and X-Factor. So that alone makes this be like, if you're running any sort of X people, this makes them all of that. This is kind of reliant on you either pairing up with another player that is running similar stuff, or you just buffing up your allies, which is another thing to do. But for one cost, this can pretty easily remove 5 threat from schemes and do 5 damage without much work at all.
For sure.
This is an incredibly powerful card. You are building around it, so that would mean I think it's high A around Husk. But I do think it is easier to play than Husk, so that may make it like a low S. I don't know. That's where I need y'all's opinions on it.
See, I think low S mainly because obviously it's a one cost event that you pay for, but it's the fact that it's from all schemes and deal damage to all enemies.
No.
I think
It's not all. It's any. So you're if you're removing if there's a 5 combined thwart, you're moving 5 threat total and doing 5 damage total.
Oh, okay. My bad. The way I read it said from among schemes in play, so I thought it hit all schemes. Okay, I see it now.
But you can still ping it around. You could do like 1 on 2 different ones, then 3 on the other one, sort of thing.
I like it. We could also throw, if you're doing that, you're playing leadership. Well, no, you're not playing leadership. If you have somebody playing leadership and they're playing Uncanny X-Force, that gives all the X-Men, all the X-Force characters +1 thwart. So that would actually increase this even more.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a niche build around though. Like you have to be playing X-Men with thwart.
Yeah, you have to be X-Men or X-Force and playing Justice, and then to make it slightly more versatile, you have to play another card. So yeah, that may make it an A.
I think
just because of that.
Above Husk.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Luke, you cool with that?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Now that reading the card explains the card, my bad.
No, you're fine.
I'll be back, but y'all can move on because this is not my card.
Luke,
This
it's yours.
This is my card. All right. So even though we're in the color yellow, this kind of reminds me of blue. Deck manipulation. One cost to upgrade, max once per player. After a player is dealt an encounter card, discard intelligence. Look at each encounter card dealt to each player and the top card of the encounter deck. You may swap any number of those cards. So what this does is you might not be able to change fate, but you can change what card goes where to be able to lessen the blow or at least maybe stack the encounter deck for the villain phase that would be coming up. I just think this is kind of solid. Is it super strong in onto itself? No, because it doesn't do any damage, but it does allow you to look through the deck. Maybe it's not S per se. I think maybe high A because of the manipulation. Because if those top 4 cards are all high power boost icons, I mean, technically intelligence isn't doing anything. You're just foresighting that you're about to get your butt kicked. But I think this is a fun card. I actually think this is a really well designed card in this game.
Well, it's for encounter, so it's for the encounter effect, not boost icons.
Ah, my bad. Heard that.
But it's still really good for that. I think it's high A, below Gunboat Diplomacy, but above us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of input on it, honestly. Like it is what it is. It's good. The next card is the Raft, which I put in here, which is a shield card, which bonus points because other stuff in Justice for shield. It has a paragraph of text. The Raft is a unique card that costs 2. It allows us to manipulate minions a little bit better, especially if you have bad minions you don't want to deal with. It reads, after a minion leaves play, tuck it under here from the encounter discard pile. It's a response and not a forced response, so it's not something you have to do. Remove threat from a scheme equal to the tuck minions printed scheme. If there are 4 more minions here, deal 1 random minion here to any player as a face down encounter card. Now, the benefit to this is if you have the potential to get scheme off, so this is thwarting for you, as well as if there's a specific type of minion that's a problem for you in a encounter set, you can remove it. Specifically like Dark Beast, or even what are the ones that we did the last game we played?
The faceless guys. Don't
back.
remember their name.
Those, like, just getting rid of key minions can help so much, or minions that search for other minions. But this is thwart, and it gets annoying parts of the villain away from the playfield. So if you lock down 4 characters and you don't want them to come back at all, you just don't activate this again. Well, 3, not 4.
Oh yeah, because it's worded once there's 4 here, it starts spitting them back out.
I like this card a lot. I'm gonna be honest, because reducing the number of minions you're hitting later in the game benefits you in the fact that you're dealing with less minions most of the time. David, your thoughts?
Yeah, like I think low S is where it, because it's not good enough to be an auto include in every deck, but it's one of those things where that like I have the opinion I've said several times. If you include this card in your deck, it's probably going to make your deck better. This card is obviously better in multiplayer, just because more chance to get minions. Because Justice only has a handful of ways to go fishing for minions right now, with intelligence being one of those. No, intelligence is one of those. It's God, what's that other one? It doesn't matter. It only has a handful of ways to go fishing for minions, so this is better in multiplayer. I feel like low S is a good call for
it. Okay. So we'll just leave it where it's at. I still think Wolfsbane is a little bit better. I think we're incrementally better in S so far. Luke, are you good with that? Luke?
Yeah.
Okay. Next we have One Way or Another.
Which is, debatably the best card in Justice.
Oh.
So, One Way or Another is a 0-cost event. You can only play it once per round. Hero action: search the encounter deck for a side scheme, reveal that side scheme, draw 3 cards, shuffle the encounter deck. It's a 0-cost that draws you 3 cards to get you another benefit, which is getting you a side scheme.
So what happens when there's not a side scheme in the deck?
You whiff. But if you're playing One Way or Another right, you'll have played 1 or 2 before then, so you can kind of guesstimate how many side schemes are in the deck. Because this just gives you intel. Like, if you're unfamiliar with the villain, you can very easily just be like, oh, cool, I'm going to count and look at all the side schemes. If you're familiar with the villain, you can kind of know what to expect from it. You can generally predict when this is going to hit and when it isn't going to. Yeah, just searching for a side scheme that you can use to then, draw another card off of it with Skill Investigator is really, really good.
I think so you want to put it up here?
Yeah. And I would go to the next one. I gotta go check on a little girl. So I'll be right back.
All right. Next up we have this is David's card, Monica Chang. Or Luke, did you have Monica?
No, but I can talk about her.
Yeah. You play her more than me.
I do. 3 cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 health. She is a shield card. Very important. After Chang enters play, search your deck, hand, and discard for a copy of Surveillance Team. Put into play, and then place 1 additional counter on each Surveillance Team in play. So I used her in the Captain America deck. So, for his Living Legend ability, she's a 2 cost instead of a 3 cost. So, if you pull her in your opening hand, 2-cost ally, get out a surveillance team, which allows you to start handling threat on the field. She's pretty good. So that way, chump block her out, throw her back into the deck, or if you have another way to grab her from discard. If you can just keep spamming her and just getting more and more free surveillance teams, she just kind of pays for herself at the end.
I think she's a build around though, right?
She's a slight build around. Don't pull like that one guy and only run one surveillance team. At least run like 2 or 3. So I think yeah, high A or low S, because surveillance teams only remove one threat. So it's not like they're putting in a whole lot of work. They're really just there for, shoot, what was it? Homeland intervention and anything that just kind of exhausts shield cards. But I think she's a good include in any kind of justice deck, and obviously any kind of shield deck.
Yeah, it's really good if you tell your protection player that you're gonna be playing Monarch Chain, so that way they can put Pinpoint in there, so you can shuffle her
Yes.
back into your deck constantly. Like,
Yeah, so I mean, it is. You're right.
yeah, no, that's where Pinpoint shines, and I do want to try to do more Pinpoint. Like, I want to try some of these cards out because it's like a lot of these cards we like, we just don't play them a lot because we don't think about them.
And I wonder if once we start playing them, we realize, I only use this one time the entire time. Maybe it's not as great as I thought.
I feel like there's a specific card. Is there a specific card, Luke?
Nope, not that I can think of.
All right, last up we have Bishop. Bishop is an interesting one. He's a 3 calls, 3 health ally, 2 thwart, no attack. But he has a special on his attack. After an enemy attacks you, place 1 energy counter on Bishop. When Bishop attacks, remove each energy counter from him. For each he gets +2 for this attack, the maximum of 6. I'm not a big fan of Bishop.
Ooh, not a big fan?
Mainly because he has to sit around for 3 turns doing nothing for him to attack, and then another 3 to get another attack off. So he has to wait. He has to wait 6 turns to deal 12 damage.
So in other words, you did not put this on your list.
No, it's David's.
Well, we'll have to see what he says. Yeah, we can throw it into community. Doesn't get it.
It's just I'm not patient enough for this to be worth it. And he's probably playing as a 6 damage in a block because I don't see this sticking around for 6 turns. Well, it has to see 3 attacks. So yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it definitely is a build around. It's definitely a nuclear option. Just kind of a sleeper agent if you might, just keeping it on there. But like you said, then you have to, keep him alive. You got to spend resources to keep him up, or you just take the damage. But I'm sure David has his own master how he runs this guy.
Like I see him like down here.
In front of us?
Yeah, you're right. Behind us. Now, how long will David be is the question. Get his opinion on this list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really surprised with like where stuff landed for the most part.
I think Justice as a vacuum it just looks stronger than Protection. Like on paper, it's just stronger. So yeah, like throwing everything kind of in the top compared to in the middle or on the bottom.
Yeah.
I don't want to say Protection is a little bit more niche, but it does seem, weaker,
Protection just has those
in
cards
comparison.
they have those cards that stick out that say play me. Like
Yeah.
unflappable. Like what deck do you not put unflappable in? Even if you play it just to draw 2 cards throughout the game or 3 cards, it still pay for itself.
Even though there's a lot of cards in A, a little bit more than I thought.
Yeah,
But like looking at it, I don't really know if I would change much. Maybe David will have an opinion about Monica. Uh, I don't know. I think Wolfsbane's kind of spawn where it's ears. Clear the area is just generically good. Uh, I mean, this looks kind of fun, honestly. I bet you once we get into our leadership, though, I bet you there's in the top for leadership.
leadership's going to be a madhouse. Yeah, I think he might actually be busy and with what he had to go take care of, so we might not be able to get back to him.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's it for the stream. We'll be getting back with the list, posting them somewhere. Thank y'all for those that joined us.
Yes.
Have a good night.